everyone, my name is Tori, this is Novel Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today is the start of a brand new reading vlog. I have my coffee. As you can tell from the title, I am doing a whole Sierra Simone reading vlog. So, I have read the first 3 books in the Thorn Chapel series. The Thorn Chapel series is a polyamorous kind of dark romance, and I have talked about this book, Dwarf Bruises, for so long since this came out, right? This is the 4th book in the Thorn Chapel series, and I still, after probably 6-7 months now, have not gotten to this book. This book is the reason why I'm starting this reading vlog, to be 100% honest. I want to get through this book, and if I say I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do it, I'm gonna do it, like I'm gonna read it. So this doesn't have an audiobook, I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but it's a chunker, over 400 pages, but I'm really excited to finally close out this series and see where the characters go. I do remember how the 3rd book ends, because it ends on a cliffhanger, like something happens with the characters and I'm like, what is going on? So I do know the story. It's not like I have to go back and reread. I can jump into this and not feel lost at all, but there is a Sierra Simone's, I forgot what this series is called, but it has Priest, it has Saint, and it has Sinner, or Sinner then Saint. There's 3 books out. I think Saint is the last book. It actually just came out, I think yesterday. Today's September 8th, yesterday was September 7th, and I think that's when Saint came out. I'm really excited to kind of dive into more of Sierra Simone because I've only read the first 3 books in the Thorn Chapel series. I think that's all I've ever read by her. And I know, like, obviously the Thorn Chapel series is not for everyone, it is dark, but I have heard a lot of my friends talk about Priest, Midnight Mass, which is I think like the middle novella book after the first book. I may read that. I may end up reading that. I'm not sure. I definitely want to get through Priest, Sinner, and Saint because they all look amazing. And a lot of my friends have been talking about those. You know, I am someone who I love, not religious books, but like romance books that challenge religion or have conversations about religion. I find that really interesting. I've said this before. I am not religious at all. If you are, that's totally fine. I don't care. But my personal life, I don't have a religion. I don't believe in like all of that. Even though I was raised in the Catholic Church when I was younger, I went through all the rites up until the 8th grade, I think, 9th grade. I've done all of those. Literally, I've been in classes since I was in 1st grade, kindergarten maybe, up until my high school years. Every single week going to a religion class every Wednesday. So I am very familiar with Catholicism and I do know a lot about it. I just, as I got into adulthood, I have chose not to practice that. I don't necessarily believe in everything, but I do know that some people need religion and that's okay. So I'm really excited to see what Sierra Simone does with Priest, with that whole series, but I'm also really excited to close out the Thorn Chapel series. I'm really excited to get this vlog started. Like I said, it's Wednesday morning. It's like 11:30, but my mornings start a little late, as I've said, so I literally have a full cup of coffee here. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty busy day for me, but I hope you come along with me for the next week or so for this reading vlog and see what I think about some of Sierra Simone's books. I'm really excited. Hi everyone, I have an update. I actually just filmed this update, but I totally messed up the clip, so yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to tell you that I finished Priest, obviously by Sierra Simone, but I finished Priest, and to be honest, I'm gonna give it, I think I'm gonna give it like 4.5 stars because the first 60% of the book was bomb. It was great. It was fucking fantastic. But then it slumped a little bit for me, and I could see where the climax was going before it happened. It wasn't my favorite. I understand why she did it, but I just feel like the momentum that she was, you know, like building up to in the first 60%, 50-60% of the book didn't continue on, but I still thought it was really, really good. I loved where she went with it, about having Tyler to find himself and figure out exactly what he wanted, and you know, like I could see it coming, so it wasn't like a surprise, but I did enjoy that part of it, that she went that way. So yeah, I also really liked the conversations that she had. It went a different way that I didn't really have expectations, but I didn't think that she would go this way. So I thought she would go in like a more like criticism of Catholicism, and she didn't actually, well, about specifically Tyler, but it was interesting because as someone who is grown up Catholic, I've always asked my mom as a child, like, why do we have to go to church to pray? Can't I just talk to God at home? What if I have to do this? Why can't I just do it this way? Why do I have to confess to a priest? Why don't I just confess to God and God will tell me what I need to do for penance, right? So it's an interesting thing it's an interesting conversation that Simone has in her book, because I've always asked myself those questions. So Tyler being, I want to be a priest. I want to stay in the priesthood. I like my parish. I like the people that come to the church. I like helping them. But he's like, but I love her. So he's like, I don't want to be with any woman. I want to be with this woman, Poppy. I don't want to marry any woman. I want to marry her. So it's interesting that Sierra Simone kind of dives into what do you do when your whole livelihood, specifically being a priest where you take this vow of celibacy, he feels very conflicted in breaking that because it's something that he took a vow to uphold. And now it's just like, well, this one person came along. So it's interesting the way that she talked about it. I feel like she kind of like grazed the top of it a little bit. I wish she would have gone like a little bit deeper, but I don't mind it. I don't mind what she did with it. I thought it was very like tasteful, if that makes sense. But I did like it. I did really like it. It was very enjoyable, like not only for the steamy stuff, not only for, the whole taboo-ness of everything, but I really liked that part of it. So I wasn't gonna read Midnight Mass by Sierra Simone, which is like the middle novella between the first book and the second book, between priest and sinner. But because you would have to buy the audiobook, and I already used my credit for priest. But I decided that because it's only 193 pages, Midnight Mass is like the novella length. I bought the ebook, for $3.99, and I'm gonna have Alexa read to me for the remainder of work because I got like 2-3 hours left. I don't know how far I'm gonna get with that one, but I don't really want to pick up another full like audiobook because like I'm not gonna finish Sinner tonight. So I want to be able to sit down and read a book tonight. Probably Door of Bruises, at least start it, which is obviously the other book I'm reading by Sierra Simone to close out one series. But I'm gonna have Alexa read to me now while I'm working, just the ebook version. So the audiobook for Priest was really, really good, though, I will say. But I'm interested to see where she's going with Sinner and Saint specifically, because I don't think they're part of the church like Tyler was. Tyler was like the priest. I don't think they are, because his brothers, it's not really mentioned. So yeah, so far this is going great. I really love that one. I recommend that to everyone. I think everyone will enjoy it. If that's your fine line though of like church and stuff like that, don't read this book. But to me it was fantastic. I loved it. So far this is going good. Like I said, I'm gonna pick up Midnight Mass because it says you're supposed to read that after Priest, because it's like a companion or sequel to that. So yeah, we'll see. But I'll let you know maybe later tonight or today or tomorrow. I don't know when I'll update you, but I'll let you know when I got a little update when I finish some stuff. So yeah. Okay, I have an update. It's the end of my work day. Woo, I did a lot of reading today, like audio wise, which I'm pretty proud of. So I just finished Midnight Mass. So this was really honestly just a novella that I guess Sierra Simone wrote. I don't know the reason why, but it just shows Poppy and Tyler's relationship like after the church kind of a thing. And basically it's just like their life, and they're married obviously because we see that at the end of the other book, but it's really them just like struggling in their marriage. And I will say this one has trigger warning for miscarriage. That I wish I knew because it's explicitly stated. Sierra Simone wrote in her afterword of the book where she was like saying basically, as someone who struggled with 3 miscarriages, like I just want to put that out there, like I would love that for books to have that, which I totally agree with. I think it's great to have that representation. For me, I just need to know that trigger. So that's partially my fault for not looking up to see what triggers there were. I thought it was going to be totally fine, but it was a little... It made me cry. It really did make me cry, like tear up, I should say. So I like that. I'm giving it 4 stars. I think it was a good novella. Like sometimes I like seeing couples in love and their story continue, but I could feel that this was just like, hey, let's do it for the fans kind of a thing. That's how I see it. But I'm going to start this big boy. That's what I'm gonna start today. I don't know how far I'm gonna get to. Can't tell you. I would like to say I could read 100 pages tonight, but I don't know. I'm really nervous to finish out this book this series. I keep putting it off. So yeah, this book is 473 pages. 462 pages to be exact. That's a lot. That's a big ass book, and this is a big book. So I'm starting this one tonight. This is gonna be a physical book. No more audiobooks for today. So I finished those two. I don't know when I'm gonna get to Sinner and Saint because it's the only other two audiobooks I have, but I am excited to dive into the two brother stories. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, we'll see. But I'll let you know when I have an update. What day is it? Thursday. It's actually like almost the end of my work day, to be honest. I wanted to get a lot of reading done today, but that kind of didn't happen. So basically, when I left off, I finished 2 books by Simone. So I told you I was starting this book, Door of Bruises. And I got to page 84, so chapter 8, this far in. I was gonna read last night, but I forgot that it was my soon-to-be mother-in-law's birthday. So we had to go over there and hang out with her and have dinner. And by the time we got back, I was like dead tired. I was like, well, I'm going night-night, okay? So I read a little bit last night before I went to sleep, and I was reading a little bit on like my breaks for work today, like in between like having a break. So I hope to get through a lot more tonight because this is gonna be my physical book I'm reading tonight. Like I'm dead ass getting to this one and I'm really excited. So even though we're 8 chapters in, I don't feel confused. Like I said, I do remember what happened in the 3rd book in this series. So going into this one, I was interested to see where Simone was gonna go, how she was gonna bring up everything how it ended in the last book, because it definitely ended on a cliffhanger. So I will say my whole thing with this series in particular is I like it. It's a very interesting series, but I am really only, I'm invested in only 3 of the characters, if that makes sense. So if you don't know anything about this series, it's like a polyamorous series, taboo-ish, dark romance. It's too far for me to like explain, but basically Thorn Chapel is a place they grew up, all 7 of them. I think there's 7. 6 of them, 7 of them. They all grew up at Thorn Chapel. In the first book, they go back, but this book, there's a lot. I can't tell you what this book's about without spoiling a lot of things, but all you need to know is like right now the couples are male, male, female. Then there is what's like a threesome type thing. Then there's a female, female couple right now. And then there's, I think it's just, there's a priest and he's just by himself. That's why I think there's only 6 of them. I feel like I'm missing someone, but we haven't got to that. Like we haven't seen all of the characters yet. We only seen 4 of them. So, like I said, the last one ended on a cliffhanger, so am I, like, surprised? No. But I think there's only 6 now that I think about it. Anyway, so those are the main couples, and in the 2nd and 3rd book, we really got to see the secondary couple and the other characters, and that wasn't, like, I'm not emotionally attached to them. I'm emotionally attached to, like, the male, male, female couple that's happening. So when we go back and forth between that point of view and those characters and the other characters, I just don't feel it connected. So the reason why this series is so long and it's 4 books and they're like 400 pages each is because there's so many characters and she's telling the story of all of them, if that makes sense, because they all have to do with Thorn Chapel, this one place. So I hope that like explains if you don't know what this series is, but I like where it's going, if that makes sense. One character in the female-female relationship is, you know, going through things and she's trying to work things out. And then the male-male-female relationship, it ended on a big cliffhanger. So we're now getting that introduction. So basically, we're just seeing those characters again and just catching up with them, what they've been doing between that time and this time. And it hasn't been very long, but it has been a time. And I think it's only been like a couple weeks. So I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. Last night it was hard. The first like 3 chapters I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep, but it really picked up after the 3rd chapter. So yeah, like I said, I'm on chapter 8 of this one and I'm really liking it so far. That's usually how all the other books go, is that I really like it at the beginning and then it doesn't turn out in a way that I thought it was gonna go, where it goes a different direction. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about all that. But I did start Sinner by Simone, which I have the audiobook on any play of. So I only can go up to 1.7 times speed. So this follows Sean Bell, which is obviously Tyler's brother, because it's all brothers. And we meet at the beginning. He's like at this party. He has a lot of money. He's like, oh yeah, I'm good looking. I know I'm good looking. I was like, okay. Someone's gonna knock you down a couple spots. And then he meets this woman at this party, and she's barely 21, just turned 21. And she's like, I just want you to kiss me. I want to have a moment. And then his dad calls him, and he has to go because she is sick in the hospital. So yeah, this girl is like, they have to go separate, even though he's like, oh my God, she literally is like, I want her so badly type of a thing. I thought that was water. That's not water. Oh, sorry, that's so random. We have these things called body armor, and they're mostly like a better Powerade in my opinion, but I get the no sugar one because I don't want added sugar. Brennan thinks they taste weird. I don't think they taste very weird. So there's only like 2 grams of sugar, which is really good, and it has a lot of electrolytes, so I try and drink a little bit every day, but I thought it was water. I forgot to put that in there, and it's like a berry flavor, so it's very like, but the girl we meet is Mary. Now come to find out, she's a nun. Well, she's not a nun yet. She's going through basically the process, because I was like, where is this whole, like, Tyler in the first one was a priest, obviously, that's why it's named priest, and this one's sinner, and I was like, but his other brothers aren't priests or in the church at all and anything like that, so I'm like, where's this gonna go? But basically, the girl is a nun, and the girl that he met that night is the same girl that he, like, grew up with. It's his best friend's sister, so it's kind of like brother's best friend type thing. Oh my God, it's so great so far. I'm only like 3 hours into the audiobook, and what I find more interesting, what I wanted from the first book, I'm getting in this book with the whole concept of like religion, because Sean's like, fuck your God. He's like, fuck religion, fuck your God, fuck everything that has to do with it. I hate it. Like when he talks to Tyler, he's like, you're not even a fucking priest anymore. Don't even talk to me. And then like with the whole nun thing. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting, the conversation that goes on in his head, because obviously, like their sister committed suicide because a priest molested her when she was younger. So he has that kind of concept. The church kind of like didn't like that they got called out for that. And then of course Tyler, who was a priest, and I think Sean resents him a little bit for doing that because he didn't understand why Tyler did it. So I like this like whole conversation, because this is what I wanted in priest. I wanted that hostility towards the church to come out and maybe like have the conversation around it. So I'm interested to see the conversations he will have with Mary, or Zinni is her nickname. I don't know how to say her full name. So I think it's a very interesting start to a book, and I'm already liking this one a lot. Now I can't say more than Priest, because I really liked Priest a lot for the first like 60% of the book. It's really how Sarah Simone writes the ending for me, so I'm interested to see where this one's gonna go. But right now she's just like, I'm not a nun yet, I'm going to do all this, but the person who's like her mentor basically is like, I want you to go out and live a normal life. I don't want you to choose the nunnery life basically because you feel a sense of obligation, because you think it's the right thing. I want you to live your life as a woman that's not a nun, because the vow of celibacy happens as a nun. So she hasn't taken that yet. So she wants to have all those experiences. And so she goes to him, to Sean. And Sean's like, I can't fucking do this. He's like, you're my best friend's sister. I can't fucking do this. He's gonna kill me. Like, he's literally gonna kill me. She's like, it's fine. I feel safe with you. I want this with you. I had a crush on you when I was younger. So I love that, like teaching sexually, how to seduce, all of that. I love it. So I don't think this is exactly like teacher, but I want it to see like if he's gonna just like make her explore things and stuff. I'm so excited. Like I can't even tell you. So that's where I'm at with those 2 books. So it's a good reading day. I'm surprised I'm getting through these books kind of quickly, because I only have Sinner, Saint, and Door of Bruises. That's the only 3. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna finish at least most of Sinner today. I'm gonna get through at least half of Door of Bruises, and then I only have 1 audiobook and the rest of this physical book. So I'm flying through these books. Like I ain't mad though, like I'm really enjoying them. So that's my update. That's all I got for now. That was a kind of big update, sorry about that, but I will see you later. Good morning. I put you in a different angle just to change it up, because I've been in the same damn spot every time I've updated. It is a Friday, well, it was Friday morning. It's now 12:30 on Friday. I'm still drinking coffee. I'm having a rough day. Like tired. I'm really tired today. And I wanted to give you an update because I got through half of Door of Bruises last night. This far in. I want to show off my bookmark. Do you see it? Ha ha ha. Ava reads romance. She just changed her name. We used to be Avery, but I'll link her down below for her bookmarks if you want to go check out her Etsy shop. She does hand painted like watercolors. It's really cute. Anyway, I am literally halfway through. So Oh, it's really hard for me to like stick with this book in particular because, to be 100% honest, I think I said this already, I don't care about the story of the other three characters. Like the priest, Beckett, and Rebecca, and Delphine? What's her name? Delphine, yeah. I personally don't really connect with their story as much. And it's for me personally, in a book, when I have multiple characters going on, like multiple different couples, I personally pick one and I'm attached to that couple and I only care about that couple. That's how I am as a reader. So going into this story, when you have Delphine and Rebecca that are together, and I feel bad for them. Well, in this book I feel bad for them, but like I read their story, but I'm not as emotionally connected as I am to the male female, the threesome thing going on with Poe and Saint Sebastian and Auden. So for me, it's really hard to like stick with it because every time something happens with the three that I love and I'm invested in, we switch to theirs, and I'm like, like I just don't care that much, if that makes sense. So it is like kind of hard to stick with it because it's a big book. Now there is this overarching theme that you have to read their chapters because you have to figure out the plot point. I said theme, overarching plot, to figure out what's going on. There's the whole like mystery behind Thorn Chapel and all this stuff like that. So like I'm invested, but I'm more like I want to know what's going on with my favorites, so it's hard. But I'm probably gonna finish this later tonight. I pick one couple and I stick with them. That's me as a reader. That's not any fault of Sierra Simone, but that's my update for this one. So today while I'm working, I'm gonna continue listening to Sinner by Sierra Simone. Oh my God. I started it before I was like, maybe I should stop and record a clip for Dora Bruce's verse. But I started listening. I remembered I stopped the audiobook last night at like a really spicy part. Oh my God. So when I turned it on, I was like, holy shit, this is where I stopped. How did I stop this yesterday? But so that's my plan. But I just wanted to give you that update on Dora Bruises, and I'm gonna literally dive into Sinner because I'm loving that one. Oh my God. Sean is just something else. Oh my God. Anyway, that's my update for today. I will probably talk to you later today, maybe when I finish Sinner. I don't know, but I'll see you later. I'm back with an update because I just finished Sinner. All right. I have I'm getting comfortable in my chair because I have a lot to say. So my thing is with this book, I'm giving it 5 stars. It was fan-fucking-tastic. It was everything I wanted in Priest around the conversations about religion and God and, right and wrong and, all of that stuff. It was in this book. Sean Bell is, oh my God. Okay. Sean Bell is everything I could want. Like, I'm fucking obsessed with him, okay? Now, I don't think this is as taboo because she's not necessarily a nun. It honestly makes sense of her doing everything before she becomes a nun and taking those vows, which I think I've talked about. But the main thing of why I love Sean Bell so much, and as of right now, he's like my favorite brother. Like, I don't know if Aiden could top that. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna listen to Saint tomorrow, but let me just say, Sean Bell is like it for me right now. Like, I love him more than Tyler Bell. Tyler, he holds a lot of guilt. You see that in the book. It's a big thing for him in Priest. But this one, Sean Bell, like, I just get him. He's the oldest. What he had to deal with his mother of staying strong when everyone else was falling apart. That is such an oldest child thing, and I can't even tell you how many times I've done that. My mom was in the hospital before COVID was a thing. We think she had COVID because it was exactly what it is, but it was January 2020 before COVID actually became a thing, right? And being the oldest child, I had to make sure my dad could hold his shit together for the sake of my mom. I had to explain to my mom what was happening, what the course of action was gonna be, because my dad wasn't doing that. I had to take care of my brother. My brother at the time was 12 or 13. He was in middle school. So not only did I have to drive him back and forth to middle school because my dad didn't want to leave my mom, it was like I had to deal with a lot. So when I got home, I went outside and I just bawled my eyes out. Like I was talking to my uncle because he's a nurse, and I was asking him all these questions, and I just bawled. And I remember that sense of being the oldest child and that weight that you carry, whether it's pushed upon you intentionally or unintentionally. As an oldest child, you just carry that with you. And it's a lot more than people think. And I think Sean really does, he shows that in this book with what he had to deal with his mother, what he wants, you know, also with him, like, I may be diving into spoilers now, so I'll put a little spoiler alert thing here, but him diving into the whole thing of, I have to let you go, like let Zinni go because she has her own path. Like my love for her in her mind or what she, like, it doesn't matter. That's how he's thinking. Like I love her with my soul, with my whole being, but I know that this is her chosen path. She is supposed to do this. This is her choice, and my love cannot change that. And that for me, you don't always see that in a romance in general. Obviously, she changes her mind and she's like, no, we're gonna do this. I could see the outcome coming because she talked about not only being a nun, but being a midwife and being a nurse and opening a nonprofit and helping women, especially women who either are pregnant or have a really young child. Hearing what Zinni wanted to do at the beginning of the book, I kind of could see the outcome. I was like, okay, well, obviously she's not going to be a nun, duh. But I kind of knew what they were going to do at the end of the book, which didn't ruin it at all for me. It kind of actually gave me some hope because I thought it wasn't going to be okay for a second. But I think that the conversation really that Sean has kind of with himself, he doesn't really have it with anyone else. He kind of has it with Tyler, but he's like, you know, like, why would God do this to me with his mom? Why is God doing this to me? Why is he not answering? Why is he not, you know, like answering my prayers or talking to me or letting these things happen to me if he really does love me? You know, like, where is God? Or he mentions it before. He was like, fuck your God. And he was like, fuck everything that has to do with it. And as someone who doesn't believe in God, like, do I believe in a higher power? I call it like the universe. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like what happens to you. People call it like manifesting, and you know, you see signs and stuff like that. Whatever you want to call it, a higher power being, whatever your preference is. So, but understanding God and understanding Catholicism, when I was younger, I understand why a lot of people question that. And to be honest, this book was a little triggering because his mother had breathing problems. You know, she was on a ventilator, and with COVID and stuff going on, all I can think about is so many people who are religious and specifically believe in God, you know, when you have loved ones dying on a ventilator from this illness, do you know what I mean? You're asking like, why would God let me do this? Why is this happening to me? And it's an interesting conversation to have, because on the flip side, you can think, well, this is supposed to happen. This is this person's time. Instead of asking why me, you need to ask for that person specifically, because it's not your life. You were not losing your life. You're losing a loved one. Like in this case, Sean was losing his mom. And no matter how hard that was for him, that was her chosen path and her chosen moment that she needed to go. Some people's are when they're in their teens or as babies, and some people, they live to be 130. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has their own chosen path. That's kind of like my view. So it's hard I almost teared up. I started tearing up a little bit because it was hard watching his mom go through that, and Sean kind of asking those questions of why, where is God? Why is he not saving her? You know, like, she actually believes in God and he's not even saving her. So like, what the fuck type of a thing. It was an interesting conversation, and that part is taboo. If you are someone who believes in God, is a Christian or any other type of religion, I could see why this could be taboo-ish because of the conversations that are had. I find it fucking interesting. That's just me. I find it extremely interesting, and I love having those conversations. But then again, you can't have those conversations with everyone. So this is not to say like whether you believe in God or not, like you're right or wrong. That's totally your opinion. I'm just saying it as in my personal views and my personal beliefs. I do find it interesting that these conversations are in there, and it's cool to see what Sean goes through. And he makes a joke of it at the end of the book. He was like, you know, me and God are on good terms now. Whether God responds to you or not, I think it's more of like a acceptance of certain things. And for me, I see it as not God accepting Sean or Sean accepting God. I think Sean was accepting the situations that were happening in his life, and he moved forward from that, which opened up that communication with God, what he likes to say. So it was very, very interesting. It was everything I wanted Priest to have that conversation around. He kind of considers himself a sinner because of how he, you know, at the beginning and the middle of the book before he works things out. I fucking love this book. Like, this is probably one of my favorite books of the fucking year. I'm not even kidding you. And then now I'm really excited to read Saint, because everyone's been talking about Saint, because that's the one who recently released last week on the 7th. So I'm excited to dive in. This vlog is extremely long, but I have a lot to say specifically about each book, because the conversations that are had, the type of taboo it is, this is like my shit. I eat this shit up. I find it very interesting, and it's a great conversation. Now I'm really excited because the next one is Saint, and I'm pretty sure it's Aiden. And come to find out, Aiden and Elliot, which was Sean's best friend, was caught fucking by Sean. And when I heard that in the book, I was like, oh my god, this is great. Like, I'm so fucking, oh my god. I didn't know who it was gonna be. So I know the next one is Imim. Now I know it's Aiden and Elliot. I am super excited. Like, I have to read this fucking book. I have to read this tonight physically, and then I can listen to Saint tomorrow. My work day is basically done. Saint tomorrow, while I have overtime that I have to work on. I absolutely cannot wait to start that book tomorrow. Like, that is pushing me to finish this book tonight. I have about half of it left, but yeah, I hope you're enjoying this vlog. I hope you enjoyed the conversations, my thoughts on the books. I try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but like I said, I'll put the spoilers up when I do have spoilers, because I know some people have or have not read these, so yeah. That's my little update for Sinner. One of my favorite books of the year, hands down. I am completely blown away, but I will definitely update you tomorrow morning when I clock in and let you know how far I get in Door and Bruises. Fingers crossed I finish it. Fingers crossed. Good morning. I have my coffee. It's Saturday morning. If I didn't tell you guys, I have overtime that I have to do today. So I had to get up early, just like I would normally would, to go to work. I have to work about 5 hours today, which isn't too bad. So I wanted to give an update on Door of Bruises, because I finished this last night, and I am kind of conflicted. So the majority of this book was okay, like 3-star average for me. And then I got to the ending and I was like, oh shit, is this really happening right now? Sorry if my hair's all crazy. I just hanging around the house, so I wasn't like prepared to do it all nice and pretty, but I think I'm settling with like 3.5, 4 stars. I rated it 4 stars on Goodreads, I think, last night when I finished, but I think I'm going back between 3.5 and 4 stars. So it was a good book. I really liked the ending to the story. I was really nervous that it would just like fade away and like not really kind of go through anything or kind of explain things or kind of like round the series out very well. But I really enjoyed like the last 75 pages of this book. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I liked that Sierra Simone kind of went with this, not philosophical, but like a metaphor for being away from someone, or not like, I guess you could say losing someone too, but it was, I liked what she did with it. She is, how do I say this? This series is written very, not poetically, but like flowy, not fluffy, but like flowy. The things that the characters say, the things that they think is written in a very, I want to say poetic way, because that's the only thing I can think of. And I really like that about this series in particular. Now, I'm reading the Priest series, and that is still like her essence of her having that like poetic type writing is definitely still there with that series, but there is a difference. And I think I mentioned this in my last clip, where I said this series follows 6 characters, 6 different people, and they all have different stories, and I only cared about 3 people, which I said was like the MMF. It's polyamorous, but also like there's the 3 main people that like have their love story throughout the book, and then there's a female, which I liked, but it wasn't like my forefront favorite. I'm someone who picks a couple or like something and I stick with it, and that's all I care about throughout the series. So going back and forth between like the female, I like to see their story. I like to see where they went and how they work things out, and I'm glad they got the ending that I was hoping for. There's the other character that's kind of like out doing his own thing, but this definitely has a fantastical aspect. And I kind of knew that from the other books, but this last book really dives into that, and I thought it was really interesting. So there's like a mystery aspect, and I don't really care about that. I like to see it as it unfolds in the story. I don't try and guess. So I kind of could see something was coming, so I wasn't like surprised or shocked when it actually did come up. But yeah, I really like this. I don't want to go into any more spoilers for this because the ending, yeah, it's really, really good. I like the ending a lot. I like what she did with it, how she told their story, the metaphor of what's happening, and how, like, the parallels that she draws. And yeah, it's just, it was very interesting. This series is something I've never read before. I've read a lot of fantasy romance, I've read a lot of paranormal romance, I've read fantasy, and this is something that I've never read. This whole series is a very, very unique series. Like, I literally can't pinpoint anything similar. So I will say, if you're looking for something that's unique in that way, definitely check this out. I might put this in my fantasy recommendations video. It was a very, very good book. So that's all I have for Door of Bruises. I finished this, 5 books down. I read Priest, Midnight Mass, Sinner yesterday, Door of Bruises, and I'm on Saint now. I'm actually listening to Saint. I have to work, and then I have to go pick up groceries, and then I gotta put groceries away, and then I'm gonna decorate for fall. So I have like a lot of things to do where I can't like physically read today. So I'm glad I had that long audiobook. It's like a little over 6 hours, I think. This reading vlog is going like really, really well. I got this book done, which if you know my channel and you know me, I've been putting this off for like 8 months, 7 months now. So I'm really excited I actually finished this, and I can say I finished the Thorn Chapel series because it's one that I really did want to finish. So that's the update I have. I'll talk to you later today when I finish Saint, and I'll close out the reading vlog. So I'll see you later. You're balancing on a couple things on my makeup table. I hope you don't fall. Anyway, I wanted to give you an update because I finished Saint by Simone. I think, to be honest, I was really invested in this one, but it was a lot more slow burn than the other ones, if that makes sense. So I was invested in this one, but like it was a lot more slow burn than the other ones. Now I will say that, oh my god, that chastity belt thing, oh my god, it was so like, you think like, okay, they're supposed to take like the vow of celibacy, they're not supposed to do all that, it's supposed to like have self-restraint. But when he was talking about that, I was like, holy shit. Oh my god. I will say that the one thing I really, really, really enjoyed was the talk around depression, specifically what Aiden went through and is still going through, and how it should be normal, and how he said his family didn't really have, like, it's not a normal thing for them to talk about. And so he's like, I wonder if my sister could have still been here if we would have had these conversations and talks. So it was a really different pace from the first two, I would say. This one wasn't necessarily like, do I believe in God? Do I not believe in God? That was more Sean Bell's story. So I didn't really have any expectations. I actually didn't even know he was supposed to be a monk, to be honest. I didn't even know that was the thing. Like, that was his thing. But I will say that it was more of being dedicated and committed to a certain cause. In this case, that was him being a monk and doing what he wants, and being committed to God in that way and having that commitment, or loving this person. And I like that the conversation was surrounding that in particular. I really liked the conversations around that stuff, which is something I wasn't expecting in this book. I really didn't have, like I said, expectations. I was more interested to see what kind of conversations Simone was gonna have around Aiden's story. I think Elijah is amazing. I love Elijah. Was I mad at him at the end of the book? Yeah, I got mad. I was like, don't you dare do this, and he did it. He did it anyway. So that was kind of hard because I was like, don't make this the conflict, and then he did it. And I won't say what that is to keep it spoiler free because this is a new book, but I will say that my favorite things were the conversation around depression, the going back and forth of you being committed to a person and or being committed to a cause, and really is Aiden's journey with understanding that he can do both. You can do both. You can be committed to, in this case, your God, and still not take that vow of celibacy. So I liked that conversation because it really does break the molds of Catholicism. I will say that freaking Father Jordan. I need a story about Father Jordan, okay? Okay, I know there's another Bell brother, and I think his name is Ryan. And he's basically a party animal in college right now. I don't know who the next book is going to be about, but I need Sierra Simone, whether it's the next one or a separate standalone story of Father Jordan, because I feel like he is someone that has a lot of insight, and I want to see inside of his mind. I want to see how he does things, because he's been a catalyst for all three of the Bell brothers. Like, subtly, but like he's there. Especially, I noticed it more with Aiden's book at the end. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh shit. So I just think that, like, who is he? Where does he come from? I want to know more. Like, we know he knows Tyler. And he was, I think they went through the priesthood, all that stuff at the same time. I could be wrong. But that's how Tyler knows him. Because he was, I think, a mentor, the person he confesses to as a priest. I think so. I think that's what it was. But I'm just like, I need a Father Jordan story. So I'm giving this one 4.5 stars, if I didn't say that already. I'm settling at 4.5. It's not quite a 5 like Sinner was. Sean Bell is my favorite Bell brother ever. Like, hands down. That is one of my favorite books of the year. Hands down. I'm a Sean girl. We'll just say that. Aiden's up there, so is Tyler. Like, they're obviously, like, it's hard to put, like, who's second. They tie at second, but Sean takes it for me. But this is me closing out this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me for the last couple of days. I really didn't show you what I did. I was mostly just sticking to updates because I had a lot to talk about, so I didn't want to fill up the time with, like, B-roll and stuff like that. But I hope you enjoyed it. I highly suggest to check out Sierra Simone's books if you haven't already. So I hope you enjoyed. You can let me know if you've read any of these books. And actually, if you've read the pre-series, let me know who your favorite Bell brother is. And I want to chat with you in the comments because I'm interested to see who's, like, favorites. Like, who has a favorite and why they're their favorites. So let me know. But I hope you like this video. Subscribe for more content from me. I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.